Hey guys, welcome back. It is Lucid, and we're jumping back into our game with Bogarus. And so the last episode should have been me and Grippa talking about how this was going to work, the nations in the game, how we thought we would do about them. This episode will be some of just the first bit of expansion. And I think we've got like 3 turns for you. We got, by the way, a good event on our cap turn 1. Plus 10 province income? I mean, that's super nice. And I don't know what happened. Last turn, my income, I think it was... We'll go check, because my income goes up like crazy these next few turns. Let me pull up the first one. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. But, yeah, so turn 1, we've got no unrest. We've got, our full scales present. And we're at 456. And then this next turn, we are all the way up at a very healthy 475, which is way more than plus 10 income. And next turn, we're going to be up at like 500. I don't know what that is about, but it happened. It is the way of things. So anyway, very happy to see that actually playing out. And we're going to be expanding. So let's take a look at the indies around us. We've got Wolf Tribe, which is actually really nice. Our heavy cav do fine against Wolf Tribe. Wolf Tribe, by the way, they're scary if you don't have enough protection. But if you have enough protection, like our heavy cav do, you can kind of mop them up. It's, the hoof attack and all of that, you clean them up pretty good. And they may be our only source of nature indies. So it's very possible we're going to have to put a fort here and start getting nature mages. Or even, a lab and if we do a lab and a temple, we'll put a fort. Other things to note. This is an archer province. It's probably the easiest one. It's the one we're going to expand to first. And we're basically just going to do hold and attack, hold and fire closest. To the south of us, this actually is a harder province by... there's no ranged units, and what it means is you're going to often, whenever you see this heavy infantry province with militia and light infantry, it means you're going to have to fight a lot of the enemy in melee at once, and if you don't have a ton of dudes, it's pretty easy to get outnumbered. So this actually is a little tricky as far as provinces go, but it's also going to be worth a lot. It's a farmland, but it is not a large farmland. This is a large farmland. And to our right, we have Bakemono, which can be kind of nice. We'll probably, it'll be nice to have stealthy raiding options. So we'll do that. I'm not a huge Bakemono fan, but I think compared to a lot of the stuff that we get, this could be a superior unit. And I think they also get some kind of dark vision. So that could be a nice little thing to have in the bag of tricks. Over here, we have... light infantry, crossbowmen, and heavy infantry. That makes this actually a pretty important province, because we are going to be maxing out recruitment and maybe building forts on top of our crossbowmen provinces. So, the more of those that we get, the better. And this is certainly going to be nice to have. And that's about all we know so far about our surroundings. But my plan right now is we're going to hit this... Here's our script. We've got basically the smiters at the back, these guys in the front. I just desperately don't want these guys to get hit by archers. That's kind of the thing. And there's archers in this province we're going to, so it's a risk. The archers I have found in the test games, because I've kind of been a little worried about it and running around with a bunch of eparchs in test games. The archers will walk forward to get in range if they're the ones that randomly select targeting these guys. I don't really know how much moving these guys forward is going to help. But I don't know. What else are we going to do? And yeah, we're getting 3 Malia Druzina this turn, and hopefully next turn we'll be able to get more. But yeah, that's basically it for this turn. We'll go ahead and go to turn 3 and see how this plays out. In turn 3, one second. Okay, sorry. Dogs are doing bad things. Let's see how this battle went. Pretty easy as far as indies go. Smite's coming out. Okay, so just as we make contact, we already got 3 dead. And the rest of the lance charges hit, and I think we got a few more dead. And yeah, this army is already broken. Now we're hitting these guys. They're broken. And yeah, now the archers. Lose 1 Peshti swordsman. Feels alright. And now we're going to go and take this province out. Oh, by the way, there were shipwreckers. That was a whole thing. We were thinking about canceling all recruitment and putting a 400 bid on them. But I knew other players probably would. And it's worth 400, but it's... The problem is, if we didn't recruit anything and we didn't win the bid, then we very possibly wouldn't be able to expand very well. So that would be kind of debilitating. So I think we decided to play it safe. But sadly, Arco got it. And this is Arco the player. And the nation. So hope they're not next to me. But we are sending in both of the eparchs we got. Because we got 2 eparchs this turn. And they're both coming in. So we're going to have 4 smites around. Plopping down on top of this. And we're going to need it. Because 50... First of all, I think it was 40 last turn. But now it's up to 50. So who knows? You know... Could be a lot of dudes, and it's all melee, so they're going to swarm my front line pretty hard. So definitely having more smites in is nice, and we've also positioned our troops farther back, so we hopefully get maybe 1 more round of smites before melee contact happens. So that's the plan here. We probably will have enough for another expansion party. We're getting a commander and some Black Hoods this turn, and they will walk, probably, to Bogarus the following turn. But, you know, we've already got some Malia Drazina. We're getting more dudes here. I think we got a couple more indie troops too, but or not indie troops, but our Peshti. But the plan is next turn we're going to need this commander to lead an expansion party out, and I don't know exactly where we're going to go, but we're going to go somewhere. So that is the plan. No mercs to bid on, and let's go to turn 4. Which I believe is our current turn. I believe it is our current turn. One thing also that's probably worth pointing out, because it's kind of the beginning of the series, a lot of people will be watching. If you ever choose to do a game of this type, like a Hydra game, you can't be in this turn at the same time, or you can't be editing the turn at the same time. You can both be looking, but the game doesn't like synchronize changes. It's basically like there's a turn file, like this... what you have done to the turn that's like stored on the server, and every time you do save and exit or in turn, it updates that. But if your partner does that while you're making changes, all the changes you made, you know, are going to get overwritten when he does that, and then if you save after that, you'll overwrite all the stuff he did. So anyway, it's something to be aware of. All right, we got our battle here. Haven't had really more events. I was kind of hoping for another good event this turn. Smites coming down. Got some dudes paralyzed. And these militia are not very scary. These light infantry, however, are a little bit more scary. And some of these dudes with the... I'm sorry, the heavy infantry are more scary, and the light infantry with the javelins can be a problem too. But the militia's probably about to break. But now we're in there with the heavy infantry. The militia should have broken by now. Okay, there they finally go. But we're still busy chopping them up. And now we've got to deal with 2 squads which are not very close to routing. And we've got the smites, thank God, because our Peshti swordsmen aren't hitting for shit. And they've got, you can see they're working their way down the line here, where they're overwhelming this flank. And these guys are running now, so that's not good. And sadly, they are going to make it off the field before they rout, or the enemy routs. And so with our luck, we end up... So we lose 8 Peshti spearmen, which is fine. But then we have the rest of them basically run off the battlefield, and we lose 5 of them too. So, and I think we lose one of the Malia Druzina running off. So that was actually really bad. We took the province, but we lost our front line. I actually haven't had it happen this bad in test games. Now, given this wasn't like crazy RNG, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was. I've probably expansion tested like 5 or 6 times for this, and I really haven't had the first army die like this. I don't think so. Anyway, it's not really bad RNG or anything. I don't know. I mean, it's just how it is. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. This is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to come back and record this turn right now before I know what happens, because this is my current turn, and this one's a bit of a zinger because we lost this, the people, our melee troops, and if we look down here, so we know Kalem is beneath us, and they've expanded over in this way, I want to take this because we actually had a scout here the previous turn, and we saw there were crossbowmen. And it's a large province because it's got this centerpiece with crossbowmen. That's a pretty critical kind of control point for the border with Kalem. And getting it will basically guarantee I get this, which, I mean, I expect to get anyway, but... So, yeah, we really, really, really want this province, and I really want it now so I can start crossbowman recruitment. Because when we march over here to kill Atlantis, we're going to need a lot of crossbowmen really soon. So that is basically the great plan. However, losing our front line, it's like, okay, well, how do you actually take this? And the best answer I can come up with is this. And we're going to have 4 smiters. We're going to have some archers. They're all going to be spread around. Actually, we should put them all in a box. They're not getting any benefit from line or skirmish, just a morale penalty. And yeah, the idea is the enemy's just going to run to one, then the other, or shoot one and then shoot the other. And we're probably going to lose at least 3 of these squads, either in the retreat or just getting mulched. But hopefully by the time they've run around and killed the first 3, the eparchs plus the other dudes will have kind of wrapped up business in the back. That is the hope. So this is risky. What do I think? I think the odds of this working are probably like 75% of the time it will work. I have like a little map that has most of the normal indie types on it, and I ran that into this, and it seemed to work, which I would normally never do for expansion testing, but this is like super janky. So, and I just had no idea if it will work, and we're actually wagering a lot. Like on one hand, this isn't much of an army to be wagering. So it's like, if it dies, whatever, if it gets us another province, great. However, we're wagering the life of a lot of eparchs. Now, it's likely that these guys will die and cause the eparchs to rout before the enemy gets in melee. However, that is not necessarily the case. We can lose eparchs to archer fire. We can lose them to all sorts of things. So... I did want to see that at least we had a hope. And I think we have a hope. I think that it's likely that this will work. However, it's also a very good chance it won't work. And these guys have like shit morale, so as soon as they get hit, they're going to run. It's going to be very, very interesting how this plays out. But, if it works, it's going to be great. It's going to be real great. Getting a scout here, I know, it's hard to believe. Getting a commander here that's going to lead some more of the Black Hoods over this way. This commander is actually leading these guys to pick up the next squad that's going to come out here, and will probably combine forces to take this crossbowman province out, which is looking at 80, which means it's probably right around 60, because I don't think it was 80. I think it was like 50 maybe turn 1. This is showing 60 this turn, but all the previous turns had shown 30. So I think it's right around 40. And we're going to hit this with just 1 eparch, and a bunch of Malia Druzina, and then a few Peshti, which are going to follow in behind them. And they should be fine. I think this has like an 85% chance of working, maybe a 90% chance. But getting it's going to be nice. It's going to, first of all, it's a great province in terms of income. It's going to give us more resources. And after that, With the guys we have coming out here and with the commander, we're going to be able to combine forces and hopefully take out this province with reasonable effect. So that will be hopefully pretty good. Hopefully pretty good. Yeah, I don't think there's too much more to say about this part of the turn, actually, except that it's risky. We're also bidding on some mercs, some crossbowmen. We're trying to get them here in 134. We probably won't. This is just the money I had left over, so we're putting it in it. If we get them, it will be nice, because it means if we win this, we can either hit this province or this province in the following turn. I'd probably want to hit this one. This will probably be our first fort. So yeah, I think that is most of it for this turn. We research priorities, we haven't even queued up anything. We do have evocation too, which is kind of interesting. Does mean we can do lightning bolt and stuff. I don't think there's anything else we can do terribly well. Solar rays we could do. But this only affects undead. So, yeah, I don't think evocation's not, I mean, it's something that we can use, but I would have rather had, like, conjuration or something. We probably could, I mean, the default is conjuration anyway. I think we're actually going to go up enchantment first. Probably like enchantment 5, conjuration 3, or maybe like this, and then 5. That way we get flaming arrows. It's probably what we'll do. But it's not going to matter. We're not going to be researching for a while. And not for like a long while, but for like a short while. We're going to keep pumping out eparchs. And possibly go kill Atlantis. The other thing I want to show you, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Okay, so I've got a copy of the map pulled up. And I've just been labeling where everybody is. So these are the players I found out about so far. We know about Kalem. We actually know about Raga. I can show you in game, but because we own this province, if we click on this one, we can see it. And that's... you just can see the name of any province like 3 away from you in late age. It's 1 away from you in early, 2 away from you in middle, and 3 away from you in late. So we can see this is Raga. We've talked with Kalem, and we know that Midgard is over here. And then we've actually talked with Midgard. Midgard's being played by Maryland. And I asked them, so this is like before we've even technically seen them. I've asked them what border they would be okay with. And they actually proposed a very generous offer. They were going to give us this whole row uncontested. And I don't know, I wouldn't have offered that. I mean, I wouldn't have even expected that. But then I told them, okay, well, how about y'all take this one at least? So this way they get access to the throne, which is over here. So that's going to be the preliminary kind of border. And I've said, you know, I'd like to have peaceful relations with them. The interesting thing here is that the 3 of us, Bogarus, Kalem, and Midgard, we're all neighbors with each other. So it makes for a very easy 2v1. The situation I want, though, is I want to have peace with both of them. Now, that could be dangerous, because if one of them wants to 2v1 this way, you know, like the one guy who wants peace, if the other 2 guys want to 2v1, means that by necessity, the 2 guys who want to 2v1 will go on the guy who wants peace. So I don't want peace that badly, and I want to be careful how I negotiate. I want to see what other people want, because if somebody's deadly committed to a 2v1, I probably need to be open to it or be in cahoots with the other guy. But what I want, I don't even have it drawn here. We should go ahead and draw it. Oh no, I do have it, don't I? Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah, so Atlantis is over here. What I want is to go kill Atlantis. For lots of reasons. It will be a little tricky to do in Cult 3, but if I get enough crossbowmen and I get enough smite spam, I think we can just walk in and take their capital. You know, it'll give us the problem of dealing with like these coastal raiders all game, but and I'm not honestly sure how we deal with that. We probably dom kill them or something. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens. There's a good chance that Atlantis is going to delay. Well, no, by the time we fight him, he'll definitely have taken these. But there's a good chance he'll take these underwater provinces later and prioritize getting the land provinces, because these ones should be mostly uncontested for him. But I think that if we're going to attack Atlantis, which I want to, there's a few things we need to consider. One is, so Raga's over here. I want to have peace with all my neighbors before I go to war with Atlantis. And ideally, I get Falegra in on it with me. And Falegra is a very natural ally to me. And ideally, because if you think about it, Falegra and I cannot attack each other. We're nowhere close to being neighbors. However, we share two common neighbors. We both neighbor Atlantis and we both neighbor Raga. So, ideally I can talk them into helping out a bit with Atlantis. I'm totally cool with that. The good portion of the Atlantis territory is on my side of their cap. Their cap is right here. And, if I get their cap plus these two farmlands, I will be very happy. Falegra, the only bad thing about my side is it does have this lake system, but Falegra also has lakes over here. So I think Falegra and I don't know, there's just a lot of water around Atlantis that we would probably both not mind seeing them snuffed out. I do want to get a scout over here and see exactly what Atlantis is working with. Maybe he did some silly bless. Maybe he has a really scary god. Maybe he went full scales. We want to kind of parse out what we can. That's why we're building that scout this turn. I want to see what Atlantis is doing so we can go ahead and plan for that. But I mean, this has been a great turn for diplomacy. I've opened up lines of communication with all my neighbors, with Raga, with Kalem, and with Midgard. And so far, everybody seems to be pretty friendly. We have a border negotiated with Midgard. Kalem, I've already said, hey, let's plan on being at peace. And assuming we get an okay border. And I want Kalem to be happy. I do want this province just because it has crossbows. But I'm willing to trade other things, like give him, as part of a peace agreement, give him claim to one of these thrones on our border. Probably not both of them. But I'm willing to let him have that. And then maybe, if he can get around to it, I would even be potentially open to giving him this province and this province as part of the border, where we just have this one of the contested border provinces. So I'm very open to being peaceful with our neighbors here. And it's not that I don't think we can fight them. It's that I want to go kill Atlantis. And I actually have done a test game against Atlantis. I guess we can pull some of that up. We'll do it. We'll do it here right quick. Just because I'll show you kind of how I think it will go. Okay, I actually went and tested it real quick, but I didn't feel like doing all the testing I'd need to be able to do to give you a good summary. I think the thing is, let's take a look at it. Here's the short of it, is gold for gold, the Atlantean troops are going to fuck my guys up in Cold 3. However, resource-wise, to get the same, they're going to have to spend way more resources to get the same amount of Ice Guard as we can get in Malia Druzina. So resource for resource will fuck them up. Now the addendum to that is if we can get about 150 crossbow with us, we'll fuck him up basically regardless. So that is kind of the goal. And if you think about it, we're going to get one province here. That sadly, this isn't crossbows, and we don't know what else is, but we know we're going to have at least 2. So I don't know if we can honestly get 10 or 15 a turn, depending on what type of crossbow they are. If I were to really look at the sprites, I could probably tell, I think these are the resource expensive ones because it looks like they have metal chest plates. We can't even see them here, so I don't know. But, it could, I can easily see us getting, especially if we start indie recruitment, then we get an early Palisade. I could easily see us getting, in the test games by turn 20, I had 300, I had about 200 crossbows and about 100 archers that I could put on top of somebody's cap. So, it's not looking like we'll be quite so lucky here, but I'm also not sure. We might be able to still get about that many. And then with a significant amount of Malia Druzina and then about 8 eparchs, we should just be able to go sit on top of their capital, which is exactly what we want to do. So there, actually, there's only one player left. It's Ulm, and they're logging on to do it right now. So yeah, that's but I think how this war goes with Atlantis, assuming we even do that, it's going to depend first on getting peace with our neighbors. Then it's going to be how many crossbowmen we can get, and all of that. What's interesting too, since we're going and we're not at 30 minutes yet, I'll ramble a bit. I was talking with Maryland, who's up here, and 30 is Midgard, and I think they did a repel bless, which is really cool on Midgard. I'm kind of interested to see how it'll do. It'll probably be good on their thugs too. So, you know, what it means is they took a fair amount of attack, and they took larger, and, you know, these guys are going to be pretty good with it, because it's going to be a length 4, I mean, they're basically Sacred Cav with a spear. This is kind of an ideal chassis for a repel bless, and they've got really good defense, so they would not mind. The only thing I think the risk going a repel bless is you kind of want more strength, because they don't hit very hard. Oh, turn's going to roll. I might pause, and we'll get another turn in here. Yeah, they don't hit very hard. Larger helps a little bit with that, giving them a bit more strength, but we'll see. I'm interested to see how they do. The other thing I'll do, we'll go ahead and read Diplo going out. So Grippa did this first message. Yo, Lucid is whack with these expansion ideas. After our little shits fled the field, we weren't sure what to do. I suggested we consolidate everything and take the cave and expand from there. But he comes up with this spread archer plan and goes for 2 expansions. If they fail, don't blame me, but I'm thinking they actually might work. Might, maybe. I'm not certain. In other news, we see Raga to our east and Kalem to our south. If Raga actually went cold, that means we're literally surrounded by 3 cold nations who like to fight in the cold. Well, shit. Yeah, everybody having ice protection, us being cold 3 is not great. And then I sent a message. P.S. from Lucid. First time I've caught one of Grippa's spies sent off to Omniscience. He's been sending messages, apparently, that I haven't even been reading. I put the odds of each expansion working at about 70%. I actually think they're a bit higher than that. If we lose all or most of the eparchs in the bottom stack, it's not the end of the world, but it will hurt. But this early, I'm more inclined to risk losses, especially since I'm planning on turning on crossbows on repeat recruitment in that province to the south we're hitting. So every turn I wait, it's -5 crossbows or something. I also really want to consolidate armies. I also don't really want to consolidate armies in the cave, because it's just hard to motivate oneself to split up an army that you've consolidated to be safe in order to do 2 risky expansions rather than 1 safe one. It's really hard to split up an army to do a risky expansion. And I also don't want to commit to expanding to the east when I want to secure the south. So we're going to roll the dice. And we'll get to see hot off the press how that works. If both of these fail, it will really slow our early game down, and probably mean we need to play a bit from behind unless one of our neighbors fails expansion. I also have broached the idea of a truce between the birds and us, even though they didn't know where we were, because I figure I'd rather fight the elves early than them, and I'd rather fight Atlantis most of all. I think it's dicey, but I think with enough crossbows, we cool. I'm looking forward to having a few naps early, and I'm proposing... and I'm probably going to be reasonably flexible on borders if we can expand well. Oh, even if we can expand well. So I'll take like suboptimal borders to have a good first war. Anyway, let's see what the turn brings. Oh, I didn't save this turn. Oh, well. Let's see how bad it is. So this is the wolf tribe. And we should shatter this front line, which we did. And they can run already, right? Do we get any losses? No losses. And then this is the janky as hell one. Please fucking work. I'm like very nervous about this. Okay, heavy infantry's retreating. They're stopping to throw javelins, which actually is not that bad. Light infantry retreating. Whew. Galaxy Brain coming in. What's interesting, one of my buddies who's working on this game, he made this like prototype game. This is actually where this idea came from. And, you know, like when you're making a video game, you can kind of just like make content, but like, is it really a game? You know, like what is the game? You know, if the game is just build the best type of unit and send it at the enemy, that's not much of a game. And so we were kind of, we were thinking like, okay, well, how do you know if it's a game? And one of the things was like, if it's a puzzle, like if you think about it, instead of a game, it's like a puzzle. And the only way to win the puzzle is by recruiting a certain mix of units, that if you don't get a mix sort of like that, or like there are only certain kinds of mixes that will work, or only certain positionings of units that will work. And so he came up with a bunch of, so he had all the units, and then he came up with a bunch of like enemy army configurations, and you had to figure out how to beat them with only a fixed amount of money. It was like a little battle royale simulator in a way. And what's interesting is one of the ways to beat things was you had to spread things up all over the field so that all the things would spend their time running, bouncing back and forth to kill all your shit while you shot them to hell. And that was where I got the idea for this. I've never used it in Dominions before, but it's cool to see it work in a multiplayer game. We got some events. The fuck? All right, we got unrest and misfortune and minus 1,400 people. Well, that is some shit. Bad turn for luck. It'll average out, though. So, let's see. We're going to do at least 6 here. Calum is expanded here. We also know they expanded... We should have had a scout here, too, which we're going to go send towards Atlantis. We didn't get the mercs. Ooh, Elephant Core is available, and the other mercs died this turn. Interesting. All right, sorry, I went and checked Discord. I was getting messaged. Yeah. So, yeah, our janky little plan worked. I was really nervous about it. I wasn't so worried about this one. You know, Wolf Tribe can be scary, but not really to heavy cav. Take a look at what all we got. Archers and heavy infantry. Ooh, more crossbowmen here in 163. That makes me want this province. Unfortunately, it's across a river, so for us to get it, we have to go boom, boom. And that means we have to fight. But this actually is kind of shitty. It looks scary, but it's kind of a bunch of garbage. But it's a lot of garbage. It's 90 garbage. And I don't like a lot of garbage. I like little bits of garbage. But I think the plan here is probably going to be pretty straightforward. Man, we're really clearing out our cap circle more than I kind of intended to. But yeah, I think we're going to do something like this, probably. And put these guys here, and then maybe put them on fire, holding fire. And then put these guys here and these guys here, and just have them both on attack closest. And that will mess this up. This party's actually strong enough. We could potentially split expansion. I'm not sure next turn. So, yeah, things are going pretty good. The decision we have to make is what to do with this army. I could send it here. This looks like it's only 30. I can go back and look. The previous few turns, we should be able to see what's present in this province. The problem about moving it over here is I ultimately want to get this, because this is going to be like, I don't know. It's going to be my first fort, probably. Oh, we can clean this this recruitment up a bit too. Something like so. Getting 2 eparchs this turn feels okay. I'd really like to get this. I just don't think I can manage it, is the thing. I think there's just no way on earth I get it. Yeah. 12 resources here is not happening. Maybe we go ahead and get an indie commander here too, which will cut back on crossbowman recruitment here. But Oh, look at that, a big stack of barbs. Caleb is not really going to love that. This is kind of easy, except it's got heavy cab. Heavy cab we definitely don't want to run this is stack into. We've got a shot at taking both of these with this stupid little strategy. I mean, this was 38 units. This is probably about the same. I mean, this probably is... Well, did this have archers too? Crossbowmen. Archers will do better against us because they're going to fire more often. And we don't really have armor to speak of on our Voy archers. This one will be a little risky. I think, honestly, we can do it, though, guys. I think we could probably take this. The problem, though, is we're not really gaining much by doing any of this. Like, we're not... I guess we get another income. You know, we get more income. This one we would gain a lot. This one is like high risk, low reward. Because this one I'd be able to... Not only will be a phenomenal amount of income, but it'll mean starting a fort, you know, a turn early or something. But I don't think I can Jedi this. I think this might be beyond us. I mean, that said, if we were going to do it, it would be something like this. And I think that might work. Already got the scout coming over here. I mean, this does have archers, though. I mean, Elephant Corps would be really nice to get, too. Not sure where I would send them. Maybe here to stomp Bakemono. Anyway, you know, things are going okay. We can actually afford to have some mistakes now or some problems and things to be fine. But I think the most important thing for me right now, if we're going to get recruitment going, I want to get a fort built here and a fort built here. I want to get this crossbow province and this one. These are the ones that I want. I want to get these crossbows. And we can take these kind of at our leisure. But I think that's the most important thing, because our first wars are largely going to be determined by crossbow quantity. So anyway, I'm going to leave it unfinished here. You probably won't hear back from me until next turn. So thank you all for tuning in, and see you all next time.